Thane, I have a question regarding not your existence, but when someone living in this 3D world believes they're going to go to hell, which is a bad place when they die, and they actually die, what happens to them?
Spiritually, you mean?
Yes.
Depends a lot on the individual, but basically they're met by someone who, of course this happens to everyone, who discusses their life choices, their entire life is laid out in front of them.
When you say discuss it means you talk back and forth and question and answer type of format?
Well, that's normally what discussion means.
Well, yeah, but there's also a lecture can be considered a discussion.
No.
Okay, just wanted to clarify.
Discussion requires at least two beings
Okay.
or more. A lecture is one being imparting information to anywhere from 1 to 1,000,000 others. 1,000,000 is just guesswork, but you
Yeah,
know what
it's
I
a
mean.
number.
A multitude of others. Oh, I get it now. You want to know whether they go to heaven or hell and how that plays out
Yes.
in the afterlife,
Yes.
as you call it. But if they believe strongly that they're going to hell, then they will meet with an experience, whatever it is they believe hell is. And the reverse is true. Someone believes they're going to heaven, they will meet and experience what they believe heaven is or could be. But as you know, there is no such either.
Yes.
Specifically.
Yes, I know that.
Eventually, through mentoring, shall we call it, they come around to realize what the truth is. Oh, that word causes more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah. Truth is very biased.
It is. One person's truth is not necessarily another person's truth.
Yeah.
However,
That's a big problem.
yeah, and that's the point of the, for lack of a better word, the mentors that meet a spirit when the body has been cast off. These mentors, and that is why a person's life passes before them. Because, of course, since there's no time, it happens in the blink of an eye. And
that
hence,
answered the question I didn't even ask. Thank you.
and hence, the discussion is about what do they regret? What are they proud of? What do they think was good on their part to say or do or whatever? And what they think was not so good. And then as they come to see that it's all experience, good or bad. Even bad is a relative term because no one is bad. No one is bad.
Just Different degrees of truth.
different degrees of behaviors, too.
Okay.
Some of which are not acceptable or not as acceptable as things that are considered good. But it also depends on that person's background. I'm thinking now of all the different religions that you have on planet Earth. And one person's religion might tell them that they'll go to hell if they do this and not do that, or if they do that, they shouldn't, and blah, blah, blah. And then they find out in the afterlife that another person's religion says that's just fine, it's okay, it's no big deal. But this is what you shouldn't do. This is bad. But then you go to another person and they say, well, you're both wrong. Neither of those things is bad. This is bad over here. What do you think causes all the conflict in the planet?
Yep.
So, yeah.
Variations of the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So have you been a mentor to someone just crossed over?
I have been.
I thought so by the way you were talking.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been for both? Ones who thought they're going to hell and ones who thought they were going to heaven?
Yeah, both.
So,
And all the variations in between.
So on the ones that you that thought were going to hell, how did you treat that? How did you have that discussion? How did you help them to understand that doesn't really exist?
Well, first of all, it's the same for all beings who pass over and are not ready to immediately move on. There are those who are, and they're like, hi, let's go.
Oh, you startled the cat.
Poor
He's
kitty.
staring at you. No, he was.
He doesn't care. He'll go back to sleep.
Mm-hmm. He's keeping an eye on you.
Much patience is required when dealing with someone who is so fixated on the fire and brimstone of hell and eternal torment and all that.
You mean the mentor has to have great patience?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that's why we keep reviewing their life choices and ask why they believe this, why they feel that way. And think about it, was what you're talking about really wrong? Or blah, blah, blah. You're just gentle with them.
So basically what you're attempting to do is help them to accept themselves. Is that correct?
Well, that's part of it. Everyone
Okay.
must eventually accept themselves for who they are in this plane of existence,
Right.
on this earth. But many are eager to move on,
Yes.
and they don't have to hash it all out. Now, there might still be some minor discussions and, oh yeah, I could have handled that better, or I learned that was not necessary. That was when I was much younger physically. And with time, I learned it's not that way. And then we can keep on moving through that and digging deeper into what that person is thinking and
So you drill down through their belief system to determine whether or not, to help them understand why they made their decisions and help them to understand whether or not the decision is an acceptable one or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And acceptable by whose standards?
All that is. Which is the standard of everyone who is in that spiritual realm, let's say. Because remember, we're all part of all that is, and all that is part of us, and we're all pretty much on the same page when it comes to that.
I'm just using this person as an example. I do not want to know details. For example, when Hitler died, who was a truly evil person, did he eventually accept his mistakes?
First of all, no one is truly evil. They perform evil acts, perhaps, and even say evil things and support evil ideas. The people are not evil.
This concept of them being evil and going to hell because of that, part of our belief structure here in our world because of our history?
Yeah. That's it exactly. But to finish answering your question.
Which one? I've asked 3 or 4 already.
The one about Hitler.
Okay.
This will possibly astonish many people who hear me say this, and even might evoke strong emotions about it. But hey, if the likes of Hitler can come around and realize his mistakes, realize why he made those mistakes, realize his belief systems that were false and that led him astray, and then his pride got in the way. So if someone like him can come around to the point where he's excited to meet his higher self, he's excited to meet spirit guides and guardian angels and angels in general, and realize that energy is the basis of everything. And when you put energy and negative thoughts or evil thoughts together, and remember what we've said about thoughts plus energy equals creation.
Yes.
So whether it's in this realm or some other realm, but not the spirit world, evil things can be created. Well, things that can be taken to be evil, evil thoughts, and people can be led astray by those things here and elsewhere.
Okay.
So yeah, but even, oh, that's a good one. Jack the Ripper.
Yes, another one.
Yeah. And there are plenty. Anyone who takes the
When you say plenty, what do you mean?
plenty of people who have made wrong choices, bad choices, evil choices.
I understand what you're referring to now.
Okay, and they can all come around. With proper guidance, they eventually understand. And when they do, they can move on to higher things, shall we say. And of course, I'm saying eventually, which implies linear time.
Yeah, but there is no linear time.
No, there isn't.
Yeah.
So that's a fun thing for you when your body gives up the ghost Ooh, I've been wanting to say that for a long time.
Yeah.
And you realize just how minute the blink of an eye is,
Yeah.
or that there is no time and everything happens at once, and even less than the blink of an eye, because eyes are kind of slow.
Yeah, they are.
And and it happens. And when we say that people move on and they experience other things and they
Yes.
explore and what's the word I'm looking for? Experience, explore, experiment. Did I say that?
No, you did not.
Okay. But it still happens in the blink of an eye. So you'd think, okay, a person dies and their spirit, boing, is already, wow, fini. And no. So it's a little tricky to try to explain how things can happen that quickly, and yet a soul still needs to learn and grow and do all those things. It's hard to wrap the physical mind around that.
So, someone who knows what to expect and understands what is going to happen when they cross over, they just have a very quick review? Or is it also slow?
Quick is relative.
I know it is.
Slow is relative.
There is no time. I
Right.
know that.
Right.
So I
So
still
there-
have to use time to explain things.
There still is a review
Okay.
and some discussion if it's deemed necessary, or the
Okay.
person wants it, the soul wants it.
So let's talk about Mother Teresa a little bit if we can. When she crossed over, someone was there to guide her. Probably someone far high in the chain, so to speak, or maybe not. Did she need much guidance? Or did she pretty much understand when she left her body what she had done and why she had done what she did?
She was pretty self-knowledgeable. There was still a review.
Right?
And let me put it this way. The spirits who guided her in life were the same ones who met her, and,
Oh,
they'd been guiding her all her life.
yeah.
And that's one reason she was so loving and accepting and very pleased when it was her time to go out of this, from this physical world to the next. She was excited to meet them face to face, so to speak,
I know what you mean.
energy to energy. And she recognized their energies. She was already
Cool.
that developed.
Excellent. So you can say the answer to this, yes or no.
Yes or no.
Did she have another three-dimensional experience after that?
To my knowledge, she has not yet
Okay.
chosen
I didn't think she
that
would,
path.
because she probably learned all she wanted to learn.
Oh,
Here.
but there's always more to learn, but there's always other places to learn it, not
Yes.
necessarily a physical one.